Welcome to Throttlage. Adventure bikes are everywhere right now, and the BMW GS lineup has always been the benchmark. So today we are not going to talk about spec sheet review. So today we have Piyush, who owns this beautiful F900GS and is the owner of Path Pavers. So let's hear it from him, what he has to say about this bike, his 1 year experience, and on-road, off-road, how the bike performs.
So I fell in love with it on day one of when I saw it as a BMW bike being launched back in 2024.
Okay.
And really excited about it. But how it feels in the pictures and how it felt otherwise was still unknown.
Okay.
And in March of 2025, I had the opportunity to basically go ahead and buy this beautiful machine. My biggest reason for buying it was because I wanted to do a lot more off-roading as opposed to road riding. I was riding a sport tourer before, which is the Ducati Multistrada 1200,
Okay.
which was a pure road touring machine. And I wanted a little more off-roading capability than what the Multistrada allowed us to do. And the F900 was just perfect. I think as soon as I rode it, I was just in love with the machine. Unfortunately, BMW in India only had the black and yellow version for test ride, which was the lowered version.
Suspension.
And it didn't give me the perfect feel, but yes, it still felt very good. So blindly, I ordered the rally version, and it was fantastic. I think in every way possible, it was as exactly I had imagined it to be. The first few days were kind of trying to figure out how the bike feels. The suspension was feeling a little off. The seat was completely off. And it took me a while to get used to how the bike was.
Okay.
It was a really light bike, great in city traffic, great in touring, great for commuting between small destinations or longer destinations. And I'd still not done a lot of off-roading with the machine, but the Karoo 4s on the machine were just fabulous. On day one itself, I took it on a few broken roads and it just felt phenomenal. I think the other plus point on the Karoo 4 was that there was no noise on the tires, which was probably just me, but I think this was the first bike that had a 60-40, 50-50 setup,
Yeah.
and it didn't make any noise whatsoever. I was very surprised by it. It was fabulous not to get that noise of the tires, but anyways, it's not a bothersome point for me. So day two, I basically adjusted my suspension.
Got it.
Brought it to the perfection that it needed to be for me because it's a fully adjustable manual suspension. So we did everything possible to make it perfect for me. The seat was still a lagging part for me because the original seat is a rally seat.
Yep.
And it's a really uncomfortable seat.
Okay.
So if you wanted to sit on it for more than half an hour, it just feels like your ass has no cushioning whatsoever.
Understood.
It's really bad. So I then upgraded to the Wanderlust comfort seat, which made a world of a difference. But then I was tiptoeing, which was bad again because I'm 6 feet tall. This was probably the first bike that I sat on where I was tiptoeing, which was kind of weird for me because I've always flat-footed on almost all bikes possible. So it was a weird feeling for the next few days. And it took me a while to get used to the idea that only one foot will always be flat
On the
footing
floor.
down. So I now realize what it feels like to be slightly shorter in height and be on bigger bikes. It's been a fabulous experience. I am not the happiest person with BMW service. And so, well, we've had our ups and downs with them, but that's okay. That's a separate scenario. All in all, the bike's fantastic. I think it can do everything possible. I just did the BMW GS experience. It was fabulous. Plus, I did with road tires. So it was even more fun.
You got the streets.
I got the two runs next twos.
Okay.
And those are just fabulous road tires. But it was so much fun doing off-roading with them. So yes, it's a great machine.
Before considering this bike, I think the Desert X was already launched.
Yes.
Weren't you looking at that as an option?
So one, I've had a Ducati for 7 years. Ducatis are slightly more expensive to maintain. Not that I'm not a fan of how they look. It's a great machine. The problem with the Desert X is that in India, the one that is launched is meant for 75 kg people. I am 90 kgs, which means that I have to change the rear suspension, which means whatever the price I do spend on day one, I then have to spend more on day two to get a brand new suspension, which will be for me.
Understood.
So I was not the happiest person trying to do that. Plus, the Desert X does have some kinks There's some problems with their overheating, some problems with their fuel tank contracting. That's not a great puller for me. I think the Multistrada V4S is a beautiful machine. The Desert X never spoke to me the way that the Multistrada did.
Because I think Desert X and the F900GS are somewhat similar in terms of specs as well, numbers. But when you consider the V4 Rally, but
Right.
that's more of a 1717 setup. So off-roading may, I think 2117 or 2118 works best.
So the Multistrada V4 actually comes with the 1917 setup, which is the GS setup.
Okay.
So it's actually not a bad setup, but that's a separate topic altogether.
Definitely.
The Desert X is the closest competitor to the F900GS,
F900GS.
but the Desert X is more in line with the Tenere 700 as opposed to being closer to the F900.
Okay.
The F900 is a very close competition to the Tiger 900 Rally Pro. So,
Okay.
in terms of performance, in terms of weight distribution, in terms of the way that they perform, both these bikes are very similar. I kept considering the Tiger 900 for the longest time, but I think the biggest puller for me, one was BMW and their techs, which are slightly better than the Tiger because they're a little more complicated. Two, the fully adjustable manual suspension, because that gives me a lot of leeway as to how I want to set up my suspension as opposed to being a non-existent suspension that you cannot set up, or an electronic one which will do what it needs to do as opposed to what I want it to do.
Got it. Let's talk about what modifications. Like you mentioned, the seat is one part of it.
Right?
I think you also installed the Denali D7 Pros.
Right. So I have got the Hepco Baker stainless steel guards. They're fantastic, upper and lower. The good part is the rally version comes with the Enduro sump guard and the hand guards.
guards.
So I don't need to upgrade on those. I put the D7 Pros. Akrapovic is actually stock. It gives you a little more pep on the lower end. I think it's got ample amount of power. It doesn't feel like it's ever overpowering me. But then again, I'm coming from a Multistrada 1200, which is 165 bhp. This is 108 bhp, so it doesn't feel overpowering at all. It's got just about ample amount of power that I want for touring and for city riding and for long highways. I don't think more power is required for any of these in India.
Understood.
So yeah.
And you got the Rubatech.
Yes, we've got the Rubatech. We've then
What about this
upgraded.
small cage?
So we put indicator protectors on the back. The reason for that was because every time you would get onto the bike, the tail is slightly longer. You would inadvertently hit your indicator. I hit it twice and it fell because it's really flimsy.
Understood.
That's my biggest trouble point with this bike, that their indicators are one, really flimsy,
Okay.
and two, the seat was really bad.
The stock seat.
The stock seat. But otherwise, this bike is an overall 100% hit in terms of everything else that is on the bike.
Was it a disappointing factor in a way for you? Probably the tank being like smaller, like
Not
it's got
really.
a 14.5 liter tank.
Not really. So I started off my big bikes with a Harley 48, which is a 7 liter
liter
tank. It allowed me 100 kilometers to a liter to a full tank. So I've come from that. So 14 liters is still a lot. So it doesn't matter, man. Anyways, I don't ride 200 kilometers at a stretch. I would probably take a break every 150 kilometers. So it's probably great for me. It gives me the leeway to go take a break, get some fuel up, and then keep riding again.
Okay. Have you done any long touring on this bike?
Unfortunately, no. I have been kind of busy over the year.
Okay.
I've had almost no time. I planned a couple of long rides, but they had to be canned because of work or some other emergencies. So, yes, unfortunately, I haven't done more than about 150, 200 kilometers yet. But yes, I would love to take this bike. This is all set up, ready to go for a long ride. Hopefully, May allows me to do that.
Also, you spoke about your off-road adventure like you had with the bike with the BMW Motorrad as well as your small
Right.
instances on the road. How was that whole experience with this one?
Oh, it's fantastic, man. Whether it's road tires or off-road tires, this bike just is fantastic when it comes down to off-roading. All right, set up your suspension perfectly before you go, and the bike just feels on point in every way possible. We did some hill climbs, we did some slaloms, we did some between the rods, we did everything possible, and there was nothing that this bike cannot handle. Whether it is road tires, off-road tires, it doesn't matter. I'm not I wouldn't call myself the greatest rider when it comes down to off-roading. Yes, I've done a lot of off-roading over the years and a lot of riding over the years, but off-road still feels like an alien to me.
Okay.
I think it's more natural instinct what is there in when I do off-roading as opposed to what I was taught at BMW off-roading session or with Nakul at his ADV off-roading classes. I think both of those were immensely eye-opening. Everything that we were doing naturally, but sometimes would falter with, they helped us to figure out what was the right thing to do with our motorcycles. Whether it was throttle control, whether it was braking, whether it was how we were standing. So yeah, it's if you know what you're doing with your machine, you'll be more in line. And the F900 is, I think, today in terms of a machine that is both great for touring and for off-roading. This is a fantastic machine.
So when you talk so much positive about the bike, one thing I still can't figure out is why this bike is not seen anymore.
See, I think the biggest problem, I wouldn't call it a problem. The biggest challenge for any company in a mid segment is how do they promote that mid segment. It's either the highest segment which most people will buy, and most people are buying it not because they really want to use it, but because the society expects them to buy it. Right? If you have the money for it, you would want to get the best thing possible, and that's what most people have done. No offense to anybody about it, but I think the 1300 GS and the GSA are great machines, but they're too specific to what a person may want to do. Instead of choosing how people think of a motorcycle according to themselves, they choose according to what the society or the close knit people would like them to buy. That is one big reason why the F900 is not done as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Two, the BMW service is lacking. I had a warranty claim for an indicator which was denied because they said I have Wonderlich indicator guards on the indicators, which doesn't make
Does
sense. It's as simple as it goes. If you don't have great service, you will not have customers buying it. A lot of the mid segment customers want to get a good machine that is reliable, and smaller things like this don't really help the cause. That is one. Two, not a lot of people are talking about the F900. I think in India, there's very few people who actually have it. The number may be lesser than 50 bikes in the entire country.
That's
But
true.
again, I'm not too sure if that number is true, but you don't see them everywhere. That is a big reason why this bike has not been bought by a lot of people. I think the machine's just fantastic in
because I
every
think
way.
when you look at off-roading, I've seen a lot of people. So there are two good bikes. So I consider as the Desert X and the F900GS are beautiful machines to get these things done. But a lot of people focus more on the Tiger 900 Rally, the 1250GS, the 1300GS, and they use such big machines to do off-roading. Does that make sense? Like weight with a lighter bike, isn't a lighter bike more agile and capable enough to do that?
Definitely is, but a lot of people in India don't look at off-roading as their first preference. They're looking at as touring as their first preference and off-roading as their secondary preference of when you find broken roads and trails. That's not their primary focus. A bike is going to be great if it's very well centered, even if the weight might be slightly more, like the 1250 GS, the 1300 GS,
Right.
the Tiger 900 Rally Pro. They may be slightly heavier than this by about 20-30 kgs, but in touring purposes, they're fantastic.
That's true.
Again, if it was primarily that they were using it as an off-road machine, I wouldn't support it. A lot of people say really good stuff about the Tiger 900 Rally Pro for off-roading, and I've seen them do fantastic stuff with it. At some point in time, I really wanted to get one. I think the only difference between the Tiger 900 to this is the 900 does not have any appeal when you throttle up.
Okay.
None whatsoever. It feels like it's a blank slate where you're probably riding a scooty. Unless or until you change your exhaust, you will not get an exhaust note whatsoever. It's just a silent bike. So that's not a great feeling. And I think for me, when I throttle up, I want to hear my engine. I want to hear an exhaust note.
That's true.
That's from my previous multi-strada. Every time you throttle up, your engine would give you a response. Tiger is just a flat surface. It's a great machine, but a flat surface.
So what is your next big plan? Like you said, you want to take this on a long tour. Other than that, और कुछ off-roading सीखना, travel around or do something?
So of course, so I want to basically take this on a long ride, a really long ride. I think it's been a while that I have done that. So on my plans for this year is definitely Spiti. I want to see what this bike does there, and I really hope that it is exactly what I feel for that ride. But till now, it's just exceeded every expectation that I've had. But yeah, I'm thoroughly happy with the bike. I think it's fantastic. A lot of people should go ahead and test it out and ride it to see what it really feels like. And I'm sure that you're going to enjoy as much as I do. The small little things that I spoke about that you may need to change, like the seat, setting up your suspension, that will make the bike's performance a lot better for you.
And so the final question basically is, if you had an opportunity to buy this bike again today, like, will you do it?
100% yes.
Still love this bike
I
based
do,
on.
I do. See, no matter what you say, no matter how the bike feels, the bike is perfect in every aspect according to what I really want to do. My first preference is to do a little more off-roading and a little less touring. But yes, that does not mean I don't want to tour on it. I really want to tour on it. Bike feels fantastic. For city riding, I've changed my tires from the Karu Force to road specific tires just so that I can feel the bike a lot better. And so I will not change my decision. I think this bike in that mid range right now is perfect in every aspect.
I'd say it's a very sweet deal between the. It's very close to the Tiger 900 Rally as well in terms of pricing, but it's
This is actually
cheaper than
cheaper.
that.
It's actually cheaper than the Tiger
A lakh or
900.
so cheaper.
Almost about 2.5 lakhs.
That's for 18 and a half. This is
So that was 18 and a half before, now it is about 20.
and this is
Because of the
17.
GST, this is now gone up to 18 because it was before it was 16. Now it is about 18. So
Okay, nice.
after the GST change, there's a slight difference in price, but yeah.
So it's basically a versatile bike. Let us know in the comments as to what you think about the F900GS. Piyush has already given his experience. And what bike would you choose in this category? Let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.